Number 1, alliteration o alliteration. Paggamit ng mga salitang magkasing tunog ang mga unang pantig. Alliteration is a repetition of sounds. For example, Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled pepper. It's the sound that matters. It is the repetition of sounds. Second, Anaphora, Anaphora. Ito ay ang pag-uulit sa unang bahagi ng pahayag ng isang taludtod o pag-uulit sa unang bahagi ng pahayag o ng isang taludtod. For example, I want my money right now, right here, all right? This is the use of the word all right. Third, Antimetabole. This is the use of words in a successive clause but in a transposed order. This is predictable because of the use of the term, because of the use of the words in a transposed order. For example, love what I know and I know what I love. Oxymoron, Oxymoron. Two words with opposing meaning are used together intentionally and the same phrase or sentence for effect. Ito ang intensyon na paggamit ng dalawang magkasalungat na salita para magkaroon ng mas mabisang pagpapahayag. Example, Living Dead, Bittersweet, Big Baby, Original Copy, Deafening Silence. Next, Antithesis. Antithesis is also a contrast or opposition between two things. The difference between antithesis and oxymoron: antithesis is when two opposite words are not written together, while oxymoron always has two words next to each other. Another is what we called paradox. Paradox, this is also a statement with contradictory meaning or word or contradictory words. A statement that is seemingly contradictory or opposed to common sense and yet is perhaps true. Basically, these three: antithesis, oxymoron, paradox, o sa Tagalog ay salantunay. These are all under what we call contrast. Two opposite ideas are examined together. Example, difference among paradox, oxymoron, and antithesis. We will use this sentence, see the sentence as a contrast. While I like being the student body president, I don't like how I need to look for numerous ways to raise school funds. Under paradox, okay, example, being a student body president is both tiring and joyful. Under oxymoron, example is being a student body president is challengingly easy. And antithesis, being a student body president is undoubtedly challenging and spiritually fulfilling. See the difference? For paradox, this is when a situation contains two opposite ideas, but the contrast don't seem to make sense. For oxymoron, this is when a phrase contains two words of opposite meaning, but the contrast doesn't seem to make sense. Then, antithesis, this is when a statement contains two opposite ideas and the contrast makes sense. Next is apostrophe, or in Tagalog, pagtawag. This is in which a speaker addresses something or someone who in reality cannot respond. For example, twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. That is a very good example of apostrophe. Next is assonance. Assonance is defined as the act of repeating a vowel sound in a phrase or sentence, often in poetry. For example, through, I do like Sue. So it's the use of through and Sue. It's the repetition of the vowel sound of oo or u sound. This next figures of speech, I hope you can guess it. This is a figures of speech that we use if we would like to create a strong impression. This is usually used in oratory or in poetry if we would like to evoke strong feelings. And this is not meant to be taken literally in meaning. Ladies and gents, we have hyperbole. For example, these high-heeled shoes are killing me, or the whole world was cheering at you. Next, irony. This is in which the intended meaning is the opposite of the word that the speaker used. Okay, this is a form of sarcasm or ridicule. For example, the pool really looks clean, but in reality, the color of the pool is green. So it means that the pool is dirty. But the speaker chooses to use this sentence. The pool really looks clean, even though it's not. It's a form of sarcasm. Next, metonymy. Metonymy, this is a name of a concept or a thing that is replaced by a word that is closely related to the concept or to this thing. For example, the power of the crown was mortally weakened. So the meaning of the crown here is the king. The power of the king is mortally weakened. This is metonymy. Next, personification, giving human qualities through objects or ideas. For instance, the kite danced across the sky. Joe heard the last piece of pizza calling his name. Danika's handwriting is a real beauty. The school bell screams my name to get back to class because lunch is over. All of these are examples of personification. The boom of a firework exploding, the meow meow of a cat, the tick tock of a clock. These are all examples of onomatopoeia. This is a figure of speech in which the words evoke the actual sound of the object or thing they refer to or describe. Next, pun. Pun, this is also what we used in wordplay. This is the similar sounding words that we usually used for rhetorical and humorous effect. Examples of puns are homonyms and homophones. When we say homonyms, these are two words with the same spelling but with different meaning. For example, bat. Bat is an equipment and it can also be described as an animal. A homophone is a word that sounds the same as another word but with a different meaning or spelling. For example, flour. Flour, we can use it in baking. But also another meaning of flour and another spelling is this is in which we have different characteristics of flower. Okay? We have daisy, roses, gumamela, sunflower. So these homonyms and homophones, these are example of puns, also a figure of speech. Simile is a figure of speech and type of metaphor in which we use to compare two different things using like or as. For instance, you were as bold as an eagle. You fought like cats and dogs. Then your explanation is as clear as crystal. Then we have metaphor. This is also a figure of speech used for comparison. The difference between metaphor and simile is that metaphor is direct when it comes to comparing. For example, love is a battlefield. The use of metaphor is to compare two things without the use of like or as. Next, we have Synecdoche. Synecdoche, this is a figure of speech in which a part represents the whole. For example, offer your hand in marriage. The word hand represents the whole of the bride, soon to be bride. Next, the wheels refer to a car. Then we have hungry mouths to feed. The word mouth. I want you to guess what the next figure of speech is. This is the contrast of hyperbole. This is a figure of speech in which the writer or a speaker deliberately makes the situation less important or less serious than it is. For example, this speaker said that it looks like it rained a bit last night, but actually the weather last night is an inclement weather, but he or she described it as like somehow just rained a bit. For those of you who have answers to my question, just type it down below. And thank you to you know who you are, who suggested that I should create a content review for the books that I've read. And that's a good suggestion. That will happen. And of course, I would like to thank you to all of you, my viewers, who stay up until this end. I will be back, okay? Don't forget to educate yourself. Again, this is Dan. Thank you.